This conference will now be recorded.
So I had a fairly light agenda for today. Let me share my screen maybe. First, let me get rid of some incriminating stuff, then I can share my screen. All right. So I wanted to do two things really. One was summit recap. Whether anybody had, it was awesome to meet everybody in person. That was nice. And so a summit recap, and then figure out how we want to spend. I have a set of topics I wanted to cover in the 12.3, 12.10, 12.17. One was Michael Liu's topic, which Swami says he'll follow up on. He couldn't make his talk, and then Swami filled in for him admirably. And then the other two slots, one of the things I wanted to figure out is, I don't know how to have this discussion. Sort of, what do we want to do in 2022? It seems to be a good topic to sort of discuss in the 12-17 and our first meeting in the new year. But I'm kind of struggling on how to organize that. So, so the agenda items, the sort of topics in my head were Michael Liu, agenda for 2022. And the third thing I really wanted to revisit rather badly was the spreadsheet. I think it's worth cost spreadsheet, a Bow review, a Bow deep dive, and there was one more. Oh, right, I know. Search results. This has been like a pet peeve of mine. I think we have some of the best chiplet technical content there is, and some of the best chiplet technical content there is, and it's not showing up on Google on search results in my mind adequately. And the last one that I
add topic to that.
Sorry?
I would like to add one more topic list here.
Yes, go ahead.
We need to finalize the Bow test chip task spreadsheet and look at, how the companies are stepping forward. And I think that should be discussed in this call as well. I think that's long overdue, honestly.
Okay, so let's move that to 12:10. Or we can even do that the week after Thanksgiving.
Right. And as a preamble to that, all of you on the call, please, you might want to put the link to the spreadsheet here so people can look at what we are talking. And then ideally, if everyone has opportunity to discuss this internally in your organizations, then we can have a lot more meaningful conversation on 3rd of December on, what are the responses from various organizations. So I would encourage everyone to share that spreadsheet with your management in your organizations and see how and where you guys can contribute. Everybody can contribute.
Just one thing, Dharmesh, DJ, we're kind of in a shutdown mode next week. Maybe it's too short, but I don't know, maybe just me. I may ask for an extension.
No, it's a good point. So Bapi, maybe 3rd December might be too soon. Maybe 10th December makes sense, perhaps, to give everyone more time. And we should do it on 10th and 17th, because I'm sure on 10th, not all responses. So this will require an extended discussion. So maybe do it on 17th as well. Because on 10th, people might come back with some questions, clarifications. So it should be a continued discussion here as well as in the Bow test chip. That's what I feel.
Okay. So Yeah, okay, let me put it in pen. I want to leave, so I want to leave room for Michael on the 3rd or the 17th, whichever one. Hopefully third. If the 3rd can happen, that'll be great, Swami.
For which one?
For Michael to sort of do a redo of his talk.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
Since he
Thanks.
has the slides and everything already, right? I'm hoping he can.
Yes. Yeah, I will talk to him. I'll drop you a note by this afternoon. Yeah.
Okay. So first, I do want to. Okay, so let's since we're on this topic anyway, let's get this out of the way. These are the items that I thought they merited follow-up. Shahab, maybe do since the Bo spec is in decent shape. Should we and we want to release it? I think DJ, you're thinking we should present it sooner rather than later, correct?
Yes,
So,
that is correct. That's what I'm thinking. So we should also plan out on how we are going to present it in IC. I mean, how in the sense, just simple logistics. We need to get a deck ready and then some spokesperson from Bo present it to IC. We obviously have an approval from the project, which is ODSA, because it came out of it. So the only step needed is we present it to IC and then they go and read it and then give a feedback if any, and then it becomes a formal spec. So the goal should be by beginning of 2022, let's say middle of Jan or end of Jan, we have this as a formal spec published within OCP. And then perhaps we also share a blog and do a little bit of a news outreach across various forums, so that we announce to the world that OCP has published the first die-to-die open spec, and make a little bit of a noise in the industry.
So Dharmesh, just for my clarification, what is IC, present to IC?
Incubation committee.
Oh, okay.
So the step
no,
involves,
Ravi.
yeah, every spec contribution goes through that. That's a process. Open HBI will go through the same thing, and so will Bo. And Bo should go much faster because unlike Open HBI, Bo has been developed completely in open. So there is really nothing to be done by the ODSA community because it's all the comments which have to be added are already there by the community. Open HBI is slightly different situation because it's a closed spec and it requires some kind of an approval by ODSA community, and then it goes into IC, which is how it works for most projects which are developed first in a closed fashion and then in an open fashion.
And Bobby, for the test chip, you need 2 days, or we can take one of those for the Bo spec?
Yeah, so I'm wondering, but DJ, you had a date. You had a date for the IC meeting in December, right? I don't remember when the next meeting is.
Give me a second. Let me see if I can pull it up. You guys
Then
continue the discussion.
we should get the Bo deck in shape before that. Okay, so while DJ is digging that up, this cost spreadsheet, I feel like at least it's just Mudassir Anu and Javi is not on. I feel like it's worth a deep dive, just sort of a working session on how people can, a tutorial on how people can use a spreadsheet, etc.
So, Bapi?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm here, and yeah, we can definitely do so. In fact, there are a couple of things that we're doing to enable the entire process. One of the things that we're doing is we're putting together a white paper, which we were hoping to publish in ECTC. We don't know if it will get accepted. But if not, we'll find another venue for it. And in that, we will include a rule algorithm that basically can walk people through the exact sequence of what the spreadsheet does, essentially the mathematical algorithm behind it. And then we'll be able to record a couple of videos or audios that can help people work through the spreadsheet. And then we'll post all of these on the ODSA website. So I'm hoping that by doing that, it will essentially provide the guidance to anyone who's interested in using the spreadsheet. And then, as you know, we are already working towards a Python script that will eventually automate this. So there's this roadmap that we'll follow through on.
And Bapi, just to add to that, as part of Chiplet Business Work Group, by end of the year, we are thinking of just publishing small white paper as part of the summary. So we will include more high level of what was done as part of this cost spreadsheet.
Okay. So do you think, like, do you guys think, like, say early in the new year, I don't know what the first date is. What's the first Friday? And anybody know by any chance? Hang on. Anybody know what the first Friday, or can somebody tell me what the first Friday?
7th, Jan 7th.
Yeah. So do you guys think, say, on the 7th or the 14th, we just have a sit down walkthrough and literally a hands-on tutorial?
Yeah, I mean, we could
I
do
think
that
so.
with 1 or 2 test cases, right, Mudassar?
Yeah,
Mudassar and I am talking anyway today afternoon, but everything may not be ready, Bapi, because there's a decent
It's a work in
roadmap.
progress for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 7th or 14th we can do. The
Okay.
only challenge is, again, we will know about the ECTC outcome probably by the end of middle
End
of
of
next
this
month.
month. Yeah.
So based on that, we will know where we will be posting the the
Yeah.
rule algorithm
Yeah.
in the background.
So that might be sort of ortho. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Anna.
So, no, initial feelers from the ECTC were not very positive. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay. And well, I'd like to sort of go off and say, hey, people, this is how you work it, this is how you use it, and sort of just keep hammering away at the spreadsheet. So if you had to pick a date, 1/7 or 1/14, which one would you pick?
114.
114.
Okay, fine.
Well, if you had offered us 121, we might have
We
taken
would have
that.
picked exactly. If you
No,
offered,
I think this is worth it, guys. This is
it's Bapi. If you offer 2 engineers 2 dates, what do you think is gonna happen?
also true. What was I thinking? All right.
We're not one of the me first guys.
Okay, so we do a tutorial in the spreadsheet. I think this is this is at least pretty important to me. Okay. Any DJ, you back?
Yeah, December 2nd.
December 2nd. Okay. That's going to be a tight one. December 2nd.
8 a.m.
8 a.m. So Shahab, do you want to try to get in the agenda with Ilad by December 2nd?
Sure.
Well, considering we have the whole thing, it might still be possible, DJ. And then we can do a redo of the slides on 12:10 or 12:17. So, along with the Bo test chip, Bo spec review and Bo test chip.
Yep.
You mean December 3rd?
No, December 2nd, Thursday is a separate meeting. So the idea is to sort of introduce it to the OCP incubation committee on the 2nd.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, we can sync offline on that then, DJ. You and Shahab, Elad, and whoever else on the Bo team wants to participate in that meeting.
Yeah, so I'm going to send an email right now as you're discussing other things. I'll copy you and Shaham for now, and I'm going to try to lock December 2nd for us. We need around 15 minutes of presentation, Shaham, and the idea is we just talk high level what the spec is and why it's important. We have the content, so I think we should be okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's sync offline before. Yeah. Okay. All right. Then so that takes care of this. Bo deep dive. We're done. Wow, this is like a. And then the other one I wanted to follow up on was Yin's thermal talk on how we sort of move that forward in the new year. Yin, you got any ideas?
Yes, so I think so far I feel like what we presented in the OCP summit is to see like what will be the some more impact with different package options. So I think it's worth to extend the research on that area a little bit more, is to understand the thermal modeling efforts, like how to model the packages more closely to the real operation, and also assumptions. So basically, it's like a model development and also model validation, like how to calibrate the model. And then another effort is like what will be the chiplet impact to the model. So basically, like to capture the chiplet impact to the power, and also to the thermal modeling.
And how do you want to sort of carry this forward? Just sort of separate in meetings? You want to? I'm asking, not suggesting anything. How do you grow this?
I'm not familiar with the background of the community people here. I think if we have like interest on the thermal side, we could work together and come up a better plan, and then separate the work. And then another way is maybe for some like research work, we could collaborate with the HRI group on some like research study. So that's my current plan. I will work with DJ and Ravi from Meta side to understand better, and also really want to see like the needs and also the interest from this group from the ODSA side.
Got it. Okay. So somewhere in January, do you want to go off and sort of round up people saying this is what we want to do? And I guess we between now and January, February, we've got to figure out some way of how you round up the people you want, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think maybe end of January or early February, we can have a better plan.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe then we can do a overview and see if you can gather more people to the effort.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
so Bapi, I'll work with Yin, and I think we have some ideas. So probably, and at the same time, we are also working with Swami and his team because they were a very integral part of this work which was happened in OCP earlier.
Yep. Yeah. So whatever you guys need in terms of rounding up more participants, etc.
Okay.
Right. Usually the sequence has been somebody presents to the Friday group, and that's a kickoff for sort of broader participation.
So Ravi, yeah, we did send some further ideas to Yin, and it's pretty, it could involve a lot more work. So it's a great idea to open it up also, for additional participants to partake in that effort.
Yeah. So I think we need to discuss more offline and see and put it out in the community and see how people would like to participate and support.
Okay. So we'll aim for that for February. Okay. So all right. Anybody else have anything else from or other items from the summit that you think we should follow up on? This was my list. Does any, for the people who weren't able to make it, Anu, Young, Mudassir, do you want to give any other topics you think need to be brought up, or Swami?
I don't think I saw anything in particular we needed to bring up. I think one of the only questions is what companies can provide more IP.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I mean the value of any chiplet technology is kind of it kind of increases with the amount of IP that's available, right? And it increases generally exponentially. So the more that's available, the better for everyone.
Are you thinking like die-to-die interface IP or like the chiplets doing specific functions?
Well, both.
Well, I see.
Yeah. Obviously, if the die-to-die gets to be too complicated, then that might be a problem as well. So, you know, kind of making sure that there are enough so that people have options, but not so many that it gets overwhelming.
So this chiplets doing specific functions, that also ties in with, I think, the talk that Google did on the sort of standardizing how chiplets would look by, I forget his name, was it
Rohit.
Rohit? Rohit, right? Yeah, I think that might be a good topic to pursue for that. That was kind of interesting. If we have to build an ecosystem, there's got to be good standards in place.
Yeah. I mean, to some extent, a kind of maybe an internal between this group here run through of if you were trying to design a chip, what would it look like to you if you were new? You know, you have in mind some sort of a chip. How do you decide which connectors to use? How do you decide which IP to use? Does it appear to be easy enough to do all of that, or is it a major undertaking just to try to get that level of information?
Okay. Any other observations? Any Anu, Mudassir, the DJ, you guys were at the summit. Yin, Shahab, Swami, what any highlights, anything you think we should follow up on that you've seen?
I think Ian and Ravi already covered it. I think the thermal study could get more detailed, more involved, and I think that's already been discussed. Yeah.
Okay. DJ?
I can't think of anything right away,
Okay.
Bapi.
Shahab?
Nothing on top of my head. I think everything that I wanted to say is already covered.
Okay.
You know, some random things. We should try to figure out how many people attended the ODSA part, maybe online as well. Perhaps getting some statistics on how it went could be a useful data for us to look at. And you know, Bapi, you often present growth of ODSA and all that, so you can use that data. We all can use that data in a slide format when we talk about how ODSA is gaining momentum. So that's pretty much what I could think of immediately off the top of my head.
Bobby,
Go ahead.
also in one of the presentation, I forgot who actually was presenting. Sorry about that. But we were talking about the ownership of the yield. I think that's going to be actually a pretty interesting topic and important because it may actually change the whole business model of the basically chiplet business. Who is going to actually be responsible for yield and those issues? If we can get more specific on that, I think it's better.
Yeah, actually incorporating that into the test more into the spreadsheet in some fashion, playing around with, a party A owns it versus party B owns it would be pretty nice.
Actually, Vapi, that did trigger. I appreciate this point now. I did get in touch with Regan Mills, who's Roberto's boss, last week after the ODSA. And, we were discussing about the KGD. It did show up as one of the top two issues that were listed as a key concern. So maybe that could be a topic to further dive into with Regan and Roberto.
Okay. Let's see now.
One more comment, Bobby.
Yeah.
Do you have access? If you do access to all the presentation, can you put it on the share Google Drive for us? I mean, for later
Yeah.
use.
So I think there's going to be like a 3-month period where the OCP wants you to register through the gateway for access. Let me follow up offline with Archana and Kate and find out what the status is.
Yeah, I can add to that. So the idea here, Shahab, is registration to FNTech website is free. Anybody can do that. There's no cost involved. And then all the presentations are there with slides and videos for everybody to access for the entire conference, including ODSA. And the reason why OCP is doing it this way is they do want to grab some statistics, some data on who are the interested parties looking at all this. So that's the only reason they are doing that. Other than that, it's already available. You can look at all of the presentations. And then the second point, all of the presentations have been posted on YouTube videos. So if you go and do a search on it, you can find it. But OCP is not promoting that for obvious reason, because they want to get some data on interested folks looking at presentations and get some demographic information. So that's the only reason why they're encouraging everyone through FNTech.
Thank you. I know I download even a couple of them. Maybe after that 3 months period, I think it's good to keep the history and see what we presented from the ODSA perspective.
Right. And all of this becomes eventually available under, if you do a Google on OCP past events, there's actually a link which shows all the presentations from all the past events. For instance, ODSA presented at Amsterdam in 2019, which has many good presentations, including, Mark's original Bow specification discussion. So all of that becomes available on OCP website eventually anyways.
But we got to do something about the search, man. We're just not showing up. I'm pretty confident we have the most sort of decent collection of technical detail, but it's not showing up. I don't know how I don't have a clear handle on how we fix it yet.
Yeah, maybe we can ask OCP to buy some search words on Google, and then that way we can pop up on the top of the list. For instance, buy the chiplet word and buy open chiplet, buy die-to-die interface, and then it should pop up all of the ODSA websites.
Because it's not just our proposals. We have a fairly rich collection of technical talks with fairly decent detail by a wide range of experts.
Yeah, I think that would require somebody or some bot to index everything and then create a database which is searchable. Maybe somebody from Google can help us. I don't know.
Okay, so then the last question I have is, does anybody have any particular startups that we should sort of invite to present in the new year?
Poppy, do you have access to get GUC? Someone from GUC here?
No.
Because they are actually announcing a couple of good die-to-die PHYs, at least on the silicon integrity.
I can help, Bapi. If there is an interest, I can bring GUC.
Okay.
Someone from the die-to-die side.
So they have made a lot of public announcement for what they call G-Link as their die-to-die file, but everything is proprietary. So I'm not sure if you just want to learn there or what is the intent.
So
get some information and see how basically we can compare it with OpenHBI, I believe, and see where we are standing.
So Shahab, I had a discussion with GUC. I was trying to persuade them that if they can contribute into any of our open spec like HBI or Bow, initial response is no, because they believe their die-to-die file is much better than any of these open standard.
So Shahab, is this G-Link thing different from LipinCon, which TSMC promotes?
I think it's more close to OpenHBI.
And GUC came up with it by themselves? Like it's just their own proprietary thing?
That's what I like to hear from them.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds really bizarre. I would think it's more of TSMC GUC combination, not anyway. I I don't know
So
anymore.
they have had, this is D from AlphaWave. They have had several versions of G-Link, across many different process nodes.
Mhm.
It's proprietary, Ravi, you're right. Yeah.
And
And they are keeping it all to themselves. Yeah. Mhm.
yes, and just to Anu's your point and D's point, though they are TSMC subsidiary in a way, some kind of a ownership stakes or something, but they work as an independent company. So
Yes, correct.
they
Correct.
have way too many designs in the ecosystem with their own proprietary IP.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't believe it's competitive, but that's a separate issue.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm just surprised that they would come up with something like that and believe it would work across. Yeah.
As far as I know, they do have anyway for silicon interposer a solution that it's a good performance and good number, and also for 3D integration. For both of them, they publish the numbers, but I think if they present, then we can ask and know more about them. And it's a good opportunity, Bobby, to include them to our basically comparison table for die to die.
Mm.
Oh, that reminds me. Do we want to do a 2022 die to die update?
Of course, I think there are a couple of new folks out there, and we can update them.
Anybody else think we should do this? Asking, not. Do we need to update the spread? Do we need to do our sort of a spreadsheet update, 2022 update?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Okay. Okay, so we got to figure that we got to kick this off somewhere in the new year. So that week we'll. Okay, maybe that's a good topic straight up for.
And Bapi, I know you and I briefly chatted during the summit. At some point in time, I would like us to brainstorm on the if we want to do chiplet workshop in Q1 or Q2 of next year.
Okay, let's pencil that in here as a first topic for the new year.
Yeah, but okay, 1/7. I doubt we'll have a lot of people on 1/7.
No, we'll just do a seed the idea, and then we'll keep bringing it up like the
Okay.
way we did last time.
Okay. Yeah, because it took at
It's
least
not
a
something
quarter.
that we settle in one meeting. We'll just keep hammering at it for a few weeks.
Okay.
Okay. Any other companies anybody wants to think of? I mean, you don't have to answer this now, but if there's anybody else we should invite, companies we should bring to the table, please let me know. Okay, let me do a round the horn. Michael Choi, anything on your mind that we haven't covered yet?
This is Michael. I may have one comment on the summit recap. I kind of feel, the CXL technology is really, overall they got, huge interest, which is, may change the memory business ecosystem, like a dynamic memory expansion capability with the CXL technology. So I don't know. This is ODSA, this chiplet technology. I believe maybe we may need to consider this direction, like a CXL memory expansion. So yeah, that's it. I feel like overall in OCP they are really focused on this technology. Looks like from next year it's going to be very visible, in the industry.
Really good point.
Yeah.
We got to find somebody who can sort of help sort of lead or at least point us in the direction of what CXL means to the ODSA and accelerators and chiplets. Anybody have any idea on somebody who's like who might be willing to sort of lead us along?
I can start, update what is CXL technology, but I don't know in terms of this the silicon to the silicon level who can help
Okay.
us.
I know Alan's interested in this, but he's got a different. Yeah. So CXL. Maybe do you think you can sort of share the, or at least bring somebody along, or if you're not the guy, on basically what the CXL memory impact is? Should we get the person who presented at the summit to come and talk to us? Just sort of redo the talk.
I guess I also work with the HPC, the Alan's group.
Yeah.
Regarding this direction, so probably we can invite him and then ask him to present something regarding this memory.
Yeah, I think Alan's
new
not really
memory
a
feature.
CXL guy though. That might be my only concern, right? He's more of the open OMI.
Yeah. So does anybody remember who did the CXL talk at the summit?
There was Samsung also, Samsung guy. There was a David Wang, he presented on
Okay. Would you be able to follow up, Michael? Maybe you and him, or just sort of at least just start with CXL for memory disaggregation, and then we can take it from there.
Sure. Yeah. Let me check with David, and yeah, I will let you know.
Okay. Because I totally agree with you. This in my mind, this is a big deal. Makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. I think yeah. Personally, there's going to be huge change in the memory business, I guess, with the CXL.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Paul, Craig, anything on your mind?
Yeah, I haven't been in all of the calls, but the yield question that came up earlier was an interesting talk, and fleshing that out. One good way to do that might be to get the memory guys to come in, because they've solved the chiplet yield problem, at least on the HBM side. I know they do it in a lot of different ways, but if they could talk to us about their flow, that might help on the processor chiplet side. We can't use all of their techniques, but maybe some of them.
Okay. Anybody you have any names? Anybody who you think will be willing to talk about this?
So I mean, the obvious, contact Samsung, SK Hynix, Micron, any one of the three. Micron might be the easiest, given that they're more local. But
right. Okay. That's a good point. We'll see. Maybe Roberto. Maybe Ravi. Roberto can actually. I'm guessing he actually works with these guys and can get one of them to come in, right? I'd like it if he was the guy, or Roberto and Reagan and you guys were sort of doing this, if that makes sense.
So actually, David Wong, who is the Samsung CXL guy, he's also an expert in HBM.
Okay, so we can kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's a memory systems expert, so he can describe all the different memory technologies, including CXL.
Okay. Between you and sorry.
I'm wondering, is that possible? So talk about like HPM, like power projection, and also the kind of like cooling challenges, because HBM is also a component that's really difficult to cool from thermal perspective.
It is, and he, like I said, he's very familiar with all of those issues. We are in discussions with customers about how to deal with cooling around memory.
Great. Yeah. Thank you.
Actually, there was a talk by David Wang at OCP Summit. I think you guys can check that talk. Actually, it has very useful information regarding this everything, HBM, PIM, and then CXL stuff.
Thank you for pointing out.
Okay, so Young and Michael, I guess between you guys, hopefully you can find David and schedule him for sometime in January or February. It looks like we've got three things there: CXL, yield, and thermals. Yes, I'm hoping the answer is yes. Yeah, thanks. So CXL. Okay. Craig, anything else on your mind?
No, nothing else.
Okay, Anu Young.
No, it looks like a good list. Thanks.
No, nothing else on my side.
DJ Mudassar.
Nothing from my side, nothing.
Yeah, nothing from my side, though.
Okay. Ian Shahab.
Nothing, thank you.
Michael Hesham. Michael Lu, sorry. We can't hear you if you're speaking, Michael. Or it is I can't. Okay. Swami Ravi, anything on your mind?
Nothing, thanks.
Nothing from my side.
Who's the last name? I'm sorry, I can't see it on my display. Who's the last person I missed? Who's this? Oh, D-San. Anything on your
Yes,
mind?
sir. No, nothing for me, but I will sync up with you, Bobby. We may
Okay.
want to present at one of your sessions next year.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
In that case, I think we're done. I wanted to give you back 30 minutes of your time, but it's only 4:15. But this was a good call. Thank you all. Oh, the POC demo was awesome. I knew I wanted to say something about this. POC demo was really good at our Vijay and Shakti and JP put it together at short notice, and the OCP Nick team was nice enough to let us into their demo area.
Yeah. Sorry, baby, I was on mute. I am Hisham.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so anything you need from me?
Do you have any other opens? Anything on your mind?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm
Fine.
sorry.
No worries. All right. In that case, everybody, have a great weekend. Have a good Thanksgiving.
You
See
as
you
well.
after.
Thank you, guys. Take care.